We are back with some more modern action. I'm, of course, NanMan, bringing you guys all the modern content over here on NanMan's Third Corner, and other content, too. Besides modern, we've also just got magic content in general, and cube content, all kinds of fun stuff. But this episode that you're tuning in for is going to be Yawgmoth versus Izzet Affinity. So if you've not seen any of these decks for whatever reason, you have not been as in or tapped into the modern format as maybe I have, that's okay. We'll talk you through it. We'll talk about what each of the decks are trying to do and what you might be able to expect in this specific matchup here. So Yawgmoth is a old school combo style of deck that is going to be utilizing the Undying mechanic and sort of, gaining infinite life. It's got ways to gain infinite life. It's got ways to go infinite with kind of the creatures that it runs in there, utilizing Yawgmoth, utilizing, of course, Agatha's Soul Cauldron. There's a lot of different intricate lines that you can kind of navigate to and go, oh, I think I can just win from here. Oh, I think I can just get infinite life here. And, these little elements like that. So it's a creature-based combo deck. A lot of power behind it. Does care about the graveyard. Does care about tutoring up creatures. So there are ways to attack and fight against it. The other side of things are Izzet Affinity list is an aggro deck. It is 100%. I'm going to go wide. I'm going to pierce you with one big creature. In this case, thinking of a unblockable big man Blastoise with the Kappa Cannoneer hidden in the battlefield, but we'll see how that's going to work. Will it be a swarm of drones that we have to battle against? Will it be one big Kappa? We'll find out as the match starts to progress here, but you see Green Sun for 0 on turn 1 to get a Dryad Arbor and just sort of increase the amount of mana that we've got access to, especially with cards like Badger Mole Cub and things like that will kind of let us get even more mana produced from our mana dorks that we've got. But we've got a nice little Malevolent Rumble. Going to try to find some tools that we can be able to use. Speaking of Badger Mole Cub, one's there, but we actually grab an Undying creature, which could be very scary, and Agatha's Soul Cauldron to follow it up. So very powerful setup turn for our Yawgmoth player here. So now it's on our Affinity player's turn to kind of set themselves up. Let's see, 2 mana. Okay, a weapons manufacturing. Nice little setup. This is very useful because of the ability to start dinging down and destroying some of the, of course, mana dorks and things like that. So we see Welding Jar, which will then trigger the weapons manufacturing, Engineered Explosive, which is really, really important because not only do we trigger the weapons manufacturing, but it allows us to blow up all of our weapons later on if we need to. And there's the Kappa himself. Big man Blastoise hitting the battlefield. Kappa Cannoneer 4/4 does, of course, be able to increase. Now, I think weapons manufacturing should put it to 4, which then should put the Kappa to 2, right? Do we miss a trigger? I think we might have. I don't know. Because it's like tap all these, cast my Kappa. Kappa will enter, get a +1 counter. Weapons manufacturer will see an artifact entering. Right? Isn't this how this works? Am I mathing wrong? It is possible. It is possible that my brain is just going, no. You missed it, but you didn't really miss it. But no, I think it is. And the joke is, can I say bomb on camera? Is that okay? Is that all right? Yes, they're bombs. We get it. Weapons manufacturing. But we've got on the other side of things, we see, of course, the increase in counters there. All right, Affinity player said, come play Modern with us. 7 p.m. Winchester, Virginia. Go come to our weeklies. But yeah, we've got the battle taking place here with the debate, because you see the Walking Ballista up in the front there. That's the okay. I can cast it for 0. Immediately use the Agathas to turn my creatures into Walking Ballistas. But it's like, where do you go from there? What's the follow-up, right? Yeah, getting it now early is great because there's not really that many, pesky artifact removal that you might have to worry about. But yeah, there's the immediate, boom, cast it for 0, goes to the graveyard, and then I will use that Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So now we can start shooting things. It's like, I do think, I don't know. Somebody let me know. Am I wrong? Is it not supposed to be with 1 extra counter and 1 extra bomb? Because I feel like that could make a difference when it comes to life totals here. But we just got to be able to get in there. Now, the old Yawgmoth list that used to run things like Blood Artist and Drain effects and things like that don't, they still exist depending on which versions you go. But for the most part, most of them have pivoted into this version here. All right, we do a little bit of life total swap in here as we get to see fetching down to 13. We really need like a Dredger's Insight here. Because with a Dredger's Insight, we can just start getting infinite. Green Sun. Let's just shortcut it. Oh, that would work just as well. Virulent Emissary. New Lorwyn Death Touch Elf Assassin. Whenever another creature you control enters, gain a life. The Dying Trigger. This will get a counter. I'll use that counter to sit here and just boop, 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 boop. Yep. Oh, gosh. And yeah, next turn. Okay, so it didn't really matter. Didn't really matter about the Kappa counters because it was like, well, I was going to kill you on my turn. Well, I killed you on my turn, right? Turn 3 wins were going to be for either player, it seemed like, in that situation there. So very fast-paced, exciting stuff for our first round here. We'll see as we get into sideboards. You see it, of course, immediately going in to grab some artifact removal there. We're interrupting our gameplay to let you know about our new affiliate with NerdGear. nerdgear.gg/nanman will take you directly to the website, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of awesome gaming accessories from playmats, life counters with the life tracks, playmat holders, and more. So make sure you do some browsing on the site, find some goodies, and then use the code NGNanman for 5% off your entire order. But let's get back to our gameplay. And actually, real quick, before we get back into it, let's talk about this coming weekend because we've got a 4 Seasons Legacy tournament that is coming up. So if you want to be able to catch some Legacy content that I'll be hosting and doing play-by-play commentary for, which will be the 13th and 14th, that'll be at 4 Seasons Tournaments YouTube and Twitch channel. Of course, we'll have some VOD content that we'll post up and talk about and discuss the tournament after, but at least you want to see it live, want to learn a little bit more about Legacy, check that stuff out, and you can see all of that this weekend. But let's get back to our match at hand. All right, Yawgmoth up 1-0. Affinity player gets to be on the play here. What tools could they be able to bring in? There's a couple that they've got access to, but again, it is an aggro deck, so you really need to have the ways to stop Agatha's Soul Cauldron. We talk about these very pivotal, important cards with decks. Yawgmoth, of course, the namesake of the deck, is definitely one of them. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is another one. Kappa Cannoneer, of course, for our affinity players. But there's also some other pivotal tools that we need to be trying to focus on here. So we're going to see where we can go. Already starting up some ramp for our Yawgmoth player. But how about our affinity player? Do they have anything that they can do? A nice island. I love the island choice. Dampening Sphere is actually pretty nice. Now, it does hurt our affinity player, though. Right? They can't just spam all their zeros, but it looks like they didn't have a lot that they wanted to do yet. But this does help, especially in the early stages against a Yawgmoth player who, could have very easily have just been like, oh, here's 3 more cards that I'm going to play on turn 2. Right? We saw how quickly, because the Yawgmoth won on turn 3, it's like, how can we fight against this? And Dampening Sphere is not a bad way to go about it. As long as you, the pivot into basically a control style deck with artifact Kappa backup stuff seems like an interesting way to go. I feel like it's decent against a lot of decks, but I don't know if it will be enough here as we see Badger Mold Cub coming out and increasing the ramp, which then gives us 2 mana, which Young Wolf will be cast and will pay the extra off Dampening Sphere. So, a Yawgmoth player, she says, I don't care. That's cool, Dampening Sphere. Here's still 4 creatures on my battlefield now on turn 2. All right, turn 3 for our Izzet Affinity player. where can they go from here? How control-y can they get? Also, the deleted halfling can be a bit pesky if you go and pivot into control, because you can make your legendary stuff uncounterable. So that means Yawgmoth, that means Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So the big pivot cards that we were just talking about are able to just kind of get by without being countered. All right, Mox Opal for 0. Tormod Crypt for 1. Tormod Crypt's really nice because of the Undying is a trigger that goes off in the graveyard. You have that moment that you can try to interact with it and try to blow everything up. But Agatha's already hitting the battlefield here. Very scary to see. Ballista for 0. Oh, man. Are we already? All right, 3 damage coming across. Moving to combat. And now it's like, do you force them to pull the trigger and say, yeah, go ahead, blow this up now. Weapons manufacturing coming out. You could still play a 0 cost here. Yep, looks like a 0 cost. Oh, welding jar's nice. Nope, just kidding. Changed my mind. Okay. So part of that is probably because we have a counter spell in hand, right? Metallic Rebuke. The weight it goes. No, we'll hold this mana up, but now we're gonna try to utilize the Agatha's Soul Cauldron with Walking Ballista, and we know how bad that is. So that's gonna force the Tormod's Crypt to be popped now. Ooh, Strangle Root, guys. Malevolent Rumble. Also, there's a little bit of a weird interaction with that mana dorked land there. Normally it would produce extra mana, but Dampening Sphere prevents it from producing extra mana. So you see there still is that, like, gotta tap this land and my other land just to make 2 mana. But, you know, that is not the case with the Delighted Halfling there. Dampening Sphere only counts towards lands producing extra mana. Dredger's Insight, though, this is what we were talking about, being able to find one of those life gain effects. You see the debate about what to grab, and we go for the Yawgmoth here. We could have kept the Yawgmoth in the yard there and used our Agatha's Soul Cauldron to turn everything else into it, but oh, there already is one. That makes even more sense, right? You know, basically insulating ourselves a little bit more, going, okay, if you find a way to deal with this, I at least have backup that we can be able to use. Let's sack, and of course we stay life neutral because of the Dredger's Insight. We'll draw a card. Still not a land. We'll sack this land to remove a counter here. And now we can do a little bit of manipulation, but surveil land. Maybe we can find something good. I don't need more lands. What's the response? Oh, no. All right. But yeah, that was a really tough one, especially if we were holding up Metallic Rebuke, because we didn't really have a... I mean, we could have gotten rid of the Dredger's Insight. I think that would have at least been another spot to try to attack. But, you know, now we got to try to find a different avenue, right? Okay, where can we go? I think the last time we saw Yawgmoth on camera, we also saw Yawgmoth playing against the Izzet Affinity. So maybe it's just like those are our go-to matches that we've got in queue. Well, there's a lot of games we've got in queue. I was looking through this recently to see just how many gameplay content we've got, and you know, we're doing our best to try to sprinkle in and show as many different decks as possible on the channel, for especially in, you know, how deep and diverse the modern meta is currently. Like, this is a perfect time to be able to do that. So we've got some Neoform versus Dimir Moonshadow coming up. We've got a Jeskai Stoneblade versus Living End. I believe we've got some Burn maybe in the queue, or some Rhinos, some Ketramos stuff, some Creativities, some Wizards. Like, we got a bunch of different decks to be able to show off here. But Endurance going to try to get added to the battlefield here. And we'll sack it in response to the trigger. Draw a card, remove the counter. Sack and draw. We're still...
But then I'm going to gain it back once the double trigger results. Cards are leaving your graveyard.
yeah, we're doing all this in response to that shuffle trigger here. Basically, the trigger goes on the stack, and we stacked it so our endurance would die first, the evoke would go off first, and then the drawing a couple extra cards. Basically, we're just really setting ourselves up here. But how do we win, you might wonder? Well, we're still looking for the tools. Of course, Green Sun lets us find another green card. As a difference between like the older, Court of Callings and things like that. Court of Calling was much more expensive, but okay, Metallic Rebuke. We've been waiting for the kind of tutor stuff, right? Okay, let's try to put a stopper on those ways that you might try to win. It looks like you're trying to tutor for something up. Let's hold the stop sign up.
I didn't know if one of these were a mana. I was like, oh shit.
It's just a Yawgmoth. I can find a... Yeah, I can find
Basically, that's going to give us another Undying creature, is what we're searching for there. Right? We'll go find another Undying, and then we could just manipulate those counters back and forth. But now we're just going beatdowns. Big beats coming across, dropping down, I think 9, but I think the Affinity player said 8. It might have been that I missed a Shivan Reef damage. Very possible. Not sure, though. All right, our Emissary coming out again. 1/1 Death Touch and more life. So now we're basically going to gain 2 life here. Oh, land. Does it help us? Not really. But, ooh, Arcbound Ravager. Another munitions coming out. Can make this pretty big. We can blow up some of the creatures. I don't mind this. Like, kill the Emissary, kill the Delighted, and just sort of like attempt to. Oh no. Collector Oof on the stack. Now we have to respond. Sack this Dampening Sphere to Ravager. It's done its job. Sack the bombs. And aim at face here. I don't know. I like the idea of you'll miss out on some damage. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, now it doesn't matter. It's like even if you killed the creatures here, it doesn't matter. Strangle Roof there. Infinite life. Let's draw until we can find a way to get you. Lots of removal, though. Drew 20 cards. It's technically not infinite, right? We're still having to sit here and go through all. There it is. There's the Ballista. Exile it. Oh, wait. Collector Oof's there. Oh, you're right. Here, let me eat it now. Yeah, the joke of like, oh, you're right. Let's do the next step there and be able to make sure we can be able to cast and do the things we need to do. I would like to shoot you with this, and then I will shoot this. It's basically like we're moving the counters. I'm gonna move it off of this young wolf onto you. I'm gonna use the Strangle Roof counter to kill this young wolf. It'll come back, and like you just sort of, we're just gonna keep moving counters around and just pew 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 pew. Keep going. Yawgmoth will keep sacking. Yawgmoth in quotes because it's all the creatures with counters are Yawgmoth there. All the creatures with counters are, of course, a walking ballista. So we get to see a little bit of the sideboard stuff. It seems like the Yawgmoth list is just a little bit faster with the combo, and it's much harder to interact with. The consigns are really good. Love seeing the consigns. Love seeing the Ashiok. Even the Harbinger is not a bad idea to bring in. We saw the Dampening Spheres come in as well. But yeah, it's basically like, here's 4 artifact removal. I took out some of my other tools to be able to bring them in. So very cool, very fast-paced, little fun. But this gives you a nice little snapshot of what Modern looks like right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Check out our Legacy content over the weekend as we're doing the commentary for that, and come back every Monday and Thursday for more Modern action. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in and watching, y'all, and I'll see you all next game.